And hey there, hi there, ho there. Happy Great American Eclipse Day today. I guess we should be excited about it. It's an eclipse. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer about it. I know I'm more apropos to looking at the eclipse without my glasses because the glasses that I have are a little bit tough to wear. And plus, you can't see until the eclipse happens. Those glasses, man, they are
dark.
Super unseeable, to say the least. But the good news is River Park Square is going to be a hot spot, and we're going to be there, Max 98.3. Patricia will be there taking pictures. Wave hi to her, and it's cool in its own right because it's been a couple decades since this has happened, and I get it. I'm just not as into it as everybody else seems to be with it, but that's okay. There's not a problem with that at all. Our guest today on Marshall County Today, the talk show aimed at informing you about stories, people, businesses around your neighborhood. We're talking about an important fundraiser that's going to be coming up for the Culver Pantry, food pantry. And they've been doing this on an annual basis as they bring in one of my favorite sports, wrestling, into the high school for donations of food for their pantry, which is absolutely doing amazing things now at Culver. And we got one of our guests that are going to be participating in the event. Introduce yourself.
Well, good morning. I'm Tom Ashley, also known as Xander Michaels in Pro Wrestling Kings. One of the wrestlers, or as you say it, wrestlers.
Wrestlers. I know it's just more common down here to say that. But anyways, talk a little bit about you and the Kings have been coming down here participating with this fundraiser for quite a long time, right?
Yeah. This is actually the third year that we've done a community event like this. Started with one of my former employers, which I'm no longer there. This year, things changed a little bit. CASA wasn't able to sponsor it like they did last year, so things are changing a little bit. Times, not going to be able to be completely free to the community, but we're going to offer some discounts for food donations and stuff. So
great. No, I'm glad you guys are back to do it and helping them out. Talk about your organization for a minute.
Pro Wrestling Kings, they've been doing shows in northern Indiana for, I want to say, about 17 or 18 years.
Yeah.
I've been with them since 2021. Been active with them. They're a great organization to work for, wrestle for. Some great guys that come around that you get to see. And gals. We have a lot of awesome women wrestlers that show up to our shows, and they perform as well, if not better, sometimes than the guys.
So talk a little bit about you guys. How do you get involved in communities?
This one, with this event, this was a brainchild of mine a few years ago. We started off at Plymouth High School. The next year, we thought about what if we did it at each county high school throughout the county in Marshall County.
Right.
We moved it to Culver the following year. Culver was happy to have us last April for the Clash at Casa, our Clash for Casa event that we did, the Headlock on Hunger. We ended up getting 3 carfuls from the Casa director's car. She had an SUV, and she had 3 carfuls of food that she had to take up to the food pantry that day.
How about that?
So it worked out really well, but this is our 3rd year. Like I said, things have changed a little bit.
But food donations are still the key here when you go to this event.
Yes.
So tell us when the wrestling takes place.
It's going to be this Saturday, April 13th. The doors are going to open at 6 o'clock, and the wrestling is going to start at 7.
I love going to you guys' matches because it's so fun to see how it operates. You get to see it behind. You get the idea. Is it a WWE event? No. But it is an event that kind of gives you an idea of how it does work.
On a much smaller scale.
Yes. And the fact that there is so much that goes on, how often do you guys get together to put on a show.
I know with PWK, with their website, they do at least once a month through the spring and summer, fall, things like that. I know there's a couple months where they shut down just for everyone for bodies to recover and heal and stuff. But they're doing about 15 shows a year at least. And
That's cool. That's cool.
it's a fun time.
And I love the fact you guys kind of latch on to the community or for a community effort. That's kind of important.
Yes.
I feel it is. It's a lot of people have different opinions about wrestling as a sport, but I will tell you it is a sport because you guys are athletes, man.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. And it hurts when you get slammed down to a mat.
It does.
It hurts when you get thrown into a turnbuckle. And if you don't know any of this, I highly urge you to go to Saturday night to this wrestling and see for yourself. Go up there, hit that ring post. It's all metal. Hit that turnbuckle. See how tight that is.
Oh, yeah.
There's padding there, but when you're whipped into it, life becomes a little bit more serious.
When you're whipped into it full force
Yes.
and your back hits it, you feel it.
And, I know you can probably go on YouTube and hear the tricks of the trade of becoming a professional wrestler, but still, execution's everything. And if you don't know how to go into a turnbuckle, or if you don't know how to get slammed, if you don't know positions, for example, when you're in the middle of a slugfest, how not to hit someone square in the nose or something of that nature, unless it's already, determined beforehand. It's a story.
Yes, it is.
It's a story that goes with this. And last night, I got to watch, and Saturday night, I watched WrestleMania both nights. Now, it's the first time I've watched WrestleMania, and I'd say about darn near, since the Stone Cold times.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, that has been a long time.
It's been a long, long time. And I got rejuvenated because it is more athletic. I mean, the amount of athletes that are in it now. I mean, they drew 140, almost 100? No, it was more than that. Almost 150,000 in 2 days.
I think when I saw it, I
more?
think they said 145,000 and some change.
That's amazing
for 2 days.
In 2 days, and it was at a football field.
Yeah,
Lincoln Financial. That's where the Eagles play, and it was such an incredible. I don't know. You could just sense wrestling just took a turn for the better. Mm-hmm. And so if you're into drama, and listen, anybody who watches soaps should be watching wrestling, professional wrestling, because that's the way it is. And this is just more on an athletic basis. And you can say what you want about it, but you still got to execute.
Definitely.
You got to execute. Sometimes things don't go as expected.
No, they don't.
Matter of fact, every match has that. It's just that, the wrestlers are good enough to either handle the pain or whatever took place, or they know better to, make another storyline out of what's going on right in the middle of a match.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
No, it's not, especially if a guy gets injured right in the middle of a match.
Absolutely. Yeah, and both wrestlers will know, but what's that old adage? The show must go on.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I love about this particular sport. It does take athleticism. It does take skill to do what you guys do. How many's in your group this year? Your organization.
I know we have we're going to have probably about 25 to 30 performers there this Saturday.
Really?
Yes. So whether it's going to be tag team matches, my match is going to be a tag team match. It's going to be a tag team flag match against an old nemesis, the Russian Assassin. Last year I beat him. He wasn't too happy, so he went out and got someone, said he's going to kind of beat me up this year, and says he's going to drape his Russian flag over me and stand tall in front of my home crowd. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. So I've got a partner coming in. We're going to make sure we take care of those guys.
I would imagine, especially now, you're starting to see more folks wanting to get into this. especially the younger group, and the way things are happening now in the turn of with WWE. I'm telling you, it's entertainment. It just really is, and I can see you guys even growing yourselves because of it. Because you got to start somewhere.
You do.
You got to start somewhere.
I started off down in Muncie with IPW. It's another promotion here in Indiana. I started off with them training over 20 years ago. And I still go down there every once a month, hopefully, depending on if I got time. And I'll work out with those guys, and I'll actually help train some of their new talent and stuff.
Nice.
My original trainer, he is still training those guys, and he's about 10 years older than I am. So
how long you been doing this?
I trained 20 years ago. I stepped away for about 15 years. I've been back active for about 3.
Yeah, have you missed it?
I always missed it. Having kids is a great thing, but you got to slow down when you have kids.
Absolutely.
Now my kids are a little bit older. They love to watch their dad get beat up too. So,
and it's funny, and I really got an appreciation. It revived, I should say, my appreciation for pro wrestling when I watched last night, and it helps me understand you guys more.
Oh yeah,
and the things that you guys go through. It's got to be one of those. There's a competitive nature to all this. Make no mistake about it. How do you kind of keep this from being when you lose a match from being like gut wrenching? Because it sure seems like there's a lot of that.
I've had my fair share of losses. I look at it as this way. He was better than me that day, but I'm going to come back and work harder, and I'm going to be better than him the next time. Mm-hmm. So it just gives me that drive to work harder when I do work out in the gym, in the ring, things like that. So,
how many local wrestlers you have? Are you like the only one?
We have a lot of local wrestlers in the area. We have some guys that do shows for PWK all the time that come around from Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, things like that. So we do have a Hall of Famer coming to this show, Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express.
Really?
Yes. He's going to be coming. So that's going to be very interesting. I think he has a match against One Man Crew, which he's a pretty brutal guy.
Yeah.
I haven't faced him yet, and I hope I don't have to.
How do you come up with your names?
My name came up from my favorite wrestler, Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
And the Triple X movie with Xander Cage.
Gotcha.
So I just took the two and kind of combined them. So I've kept it there. And
well, and when you come up with these names, how it may sound good at first. Do you have to go to your fellow teammates and say, "How does this sound? Do I fit that name?" I mean,
with mine, no, I never did. I never asked anybody. I just did it and kept with it. But sometimes you do have to work on the name. I know I've watched those documentaries on WWE, and guys talk about their names, and they're given a list of like 10 names. Okay, pick one. And they're like, I don't like any of these names.
Right.
So they got to come up with something. So they come up with something, they'll submit it, and then they'll be like, okay, well, we'll give you this one then.
Right.
So sometimes in the WWE, they get assigned what they're going to be. But here in the locals, we pick our names. We sell our own merchandise and things like that. So we are the ones who are coming up with everything.
Well, like I said, I got appreciation for it even more from last night watching WrestleMania because it is a story. There's storylines with each character.
Oh, yeah. Great story last night, too.
No, and a great story with Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah. I was happy.
Yeah. And, that's a guy that did his time, was shunned countless years, for 20-plus years. And his dad was one of my favorite wrestlers in Dusty.
The Dream, yeah.
Yeah, I loved watching that guy. He was charismatic. He put on a show. And that's what you go to these things for, to get entertained. Sometimes it looks odd, but sometimes it doesn't. It's just, and when you get to know the wrestlers themselves, you sit back and you go, all right, this is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
We enjoy entertaining the fans, and that's what it's for. We want to entertain them.
Now, do you guys kind of get interactive with your fans?
Oh yeah, we'll interact with the fans. I know some of the bad guys. I know they like to kind of point fingers and make fun of them and try to get the fans to hate them. And they do a great job at it. Make me hate them too sometimes, but I mean it's part of that story. So we're telling that story, and their job is to make the fans hate them and make the fans love us. So,
Yeah. Well, and that's. You like being a good guy or a bad guy?
I like being a good guy.
Yeah.
I've done a bad guy when I've done training matches, but being the good guy is a little bit better feeling, especially when my kids are watching me.
Yeah. Because sometimes they're pretty impressionable to say the least. But there's nothing like a good. Tell them to stay. I for one enjoy watching the bad guys and how they play it up, simply because it's a tougher gig. I think it's a tougher gig to play a bad guy. And Roman Reigns last night was a classic example. He's played his role perfect. He's been hated for years, but he's always been the champion.
Yeah.
And I mean, hated. And he played his role, and it was funny because it was said this morning, as a matter of fact, I was just kind of going through it because that's how impressed I was with WrestleMania. It takes it. You got to be an actor. Mm-hmm. You got to be a good actor in order to play those kind of roles. The good guy stuff comes naturally. It seems like more natural, but the bad guys, man, you got to work at it. I mean, there's a special I got to be hateful kind of thing, and when you meet them in person, they're totally opposite of that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I just appreciate that kind of effort. So
yeah, the heels or the bad guys in our industry, they enjoy it. They enjoy being able to get that reaction. But like you said, as soon as they get back behind the curtain later on, you might meet them in public. They're the nicest guys to be around.
Well, I'm sure you guys are great guys too.
I hope so.
But we got a little wrestling match we got to do coming up on the 13th here, and that's going to be this Saturday night.
This Saturday night
at Culver High School.
Yep. We got tickets still available. It's going to be $2 off with the adult ticket prices, with a food donation. So bring your food items, non-perishable, please. Those will be donated to the Culver Community Food Pantry. I know there is a VIP. I think it's a meet and greet with Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express.
Nice.
There's 4 seats, general admission, which are going to be the bleachers. And then students also have a lower ticket price as well. So if you got your kids, bring them out. We're going to have a good time on Saturday night.
But this is all about helping the Culver Food Pantry. So bring in your non-perishables, and so we can take care of that. And I really think it's going to be a fun show. And
I hope it will.
I'm glad to hear you got a good full roster.
We do.
Variety is the spice of life, man. The more new characters you get to see, the more you can sit there and just go, oh, I do hate you.
Yeah.
Or, man, you were awesome, All right. Hey, well, thanks for coming in, and thanks for doing this for another year for the Food Pantry. And I'm going to hope I can get a chance to see you guys on Saturday night, because it's always great what you guys do with this fundraiser. And obviously they want you back, so that's important too. All right. Yep. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We're back to wrap it up here for the show after this timeout.